Hello guys, this is Paula and I'm back today to do a different type of collaging. And what I would say to you is you can use music sheet, you can use old book text, you can use whatever you want. Get you some acrylic paint or some spray paint that you would mist over a stencil and make you some cool bright rainbow colors. So I took a stencil, and I'm not going to demo this today because I have demoed it before. If you go back in the videos, you can find where I did that. And basically I just did a bunch of different bright colors, different stencils and designs, polka dots, chevron, big circles, florals, I already said polka dots, hearts, and I don't even know what this is, but this is one of them too. And I think that's most of the colors that I've got right there. And I had so many left over from a project I did a while back that I had come up with this today in my head, and I thought, well, I think I already have some done, so we don't have to waste our time doing that. So we're going to need our glue stick. We're going to need our glue paper here to lay things on. And what we're going to do is we're going to take cheap index cards. Now, these are from the Dollar Tree, so they're extra thin. So what I say to you is get 2 of the cheap, flimsy, they're super flimsy, okay? And we're going to put the line side up. We're going to put some glue stick on here, okay, to hold one side to the other. And when this completely dries, when we're finished with our product and it completely dries, then we'll do all the stitching on the machine. Now, I have not stitched anything yet because I just finished my little demo. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to collage with a mixed media type thing. It's acrylics on stencils. And then we're going to tear these and use our glue stick, and we're going to make some pockets. Now, also what you have, after you stitch everything, however you want to stitch it, then you're going to go back and add some hinges. And on the back, I'm going to show you how to do the hinges right now while we're talking about it. So on the bottom, you just cut out some more of your flimsy index card, and you want it to be where the fold or the score line is toward the outside of the pocket. And you will glue this on, and then you'll do the same thing with 2 smaller ones, just like this, on both sides. And I know you guys know how to do this because this has been done a lot. And then you'll attach it on with the other side onto your book. Okay, so that is to give you a dimensional pocket. Now, if you want your pocket to be flat, you can just attach it just like that. Okay, just around the outside. You can stitch it first, then come back and glue it to the outside of your journal page. Okay, that's one thing. A second thing I kind of came up with, I was playing with the index cards because I bought them for some, not for my arts and crafts, but I also did a tall. You can do it any height you want. If you want it to be shorter, it can be shorter. Let me find the ones that are, I thought I got some single ones out, but I didn't. So basically, let me show you what I did. I've got them right here. You know, we spend a lot of money on like time cards and stuff like that, when really we could make that shape out of old text, out of index cards, out of whatever. Now, this is going to require a thinner tag or thinner item to be in this pocket because these will be stitched down after we stitch it around. You could do this like a library pocket. There's just all kinds of things you can do with it. So I'm going to show you how I did this real quick. I'm showing you how to put things together, and then we're going to collage and do different things with it. Okay, so you will want to lay your index down with the stripe down, okay, and this is the solid side up, and this one's going to have the stripe up. Now this is going to be the pocket, so you can take this down as far as you want. If you want it to be shorter, that is great, you can do that. We'll make this one shorter. How's that? So you just take and add your glue onto your bottom card, and then you want to take this top index card and just lay it on there. You want to make sure you line up the sides of the two index cards to each other so nothing is hanging over on either side. Okay, got something under there. I think it's some dried glue that feels like a little rock. So then you press that down, and this is going to be where you fold it up. Okay, now this is to make, like I said, a smaller, shorter one. If you wanted to do this like a library pouch or pocket, you could. You could even add a bigger bottom here like this. But let me show you this first before I get on to that. To make this stronger, I added another index card on the back. Okay, on the very back, and I just glued it on. And so when I stitch everything, I'll stitch it all around. My pocket will be here. This is a shorter pocket than what this is, and I just rounded the two corners on top. And so I just want to give you a couple different kinds of pockets you can use in your journals, and use acrylic paints, stencils, or the sprays, you know, the different sprays that are out there. You can spray on your stencils to get different designs and colors. And some of them you can even get shimmer. So, as I was saying here, we could put two papers together. These are already glued. And we could decide that we want this to be a library pocket. So, we could go just like this. Okay, you're going to glue just a little bit here. Okay, let's go ahead and actually do it. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right there, and we're just going to bring it down as far as you feel good doing. Since I got glue there, I guess I'll go ahead and bring it down this far. Line it up on the lines, that way you know it's going to be straight when it's all said and done. Okay, and then fold it up. Now, you can fold it in first. I would let it have a little bit of a hangover right there on each side, because that's how, if you purchase them, a lot of times they have that little section that's kind of out. See, wait a minute. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. I'm like, why is that sticking? Okay, and so then you're going to take this and fold it up. Now, you want it to be even. You want it to be straight. And if you don't want to fold that one portion up, you don't have to, because you'll just have to trim it off if it sticks out like this one is right here. See? So we're going to just trim that down where it won't be seen. But the thing that, if you think about a lot of the library, I've got a bunch that are tea stain that I bought that they stick out like this from the sides. This one's sticking out a little bit more than the other one. Let's see if I can fix that before we glue it. Now this part you would probably want to glue a little with a stronger glue. And I say that because you're going to be putting, you know, you want it to stay together. And it's not like you're just putting paper on there. Okay. Now, I had not made one of these before I did this video. So, as you can see, we're going to have as a library card. Let me grab one. I think I have some right here, or something similar. I'll put it that way. No, there's some library cards. Just grab them because I can't get them to separate. You know how that is when you're wanting something to get in its place. So once we glue this down, this will fit in here. Now, or even better than folding it like that, I think we should fold it up. I think it would be better. Now, again, this is an experiment with you, and then take it around. And we can trim this part up like you would. We'll do another one too, so this will make more sense since I changed my mind. But you still want this to fold out past here, so it has the look of a library card. And then we're going to punch the top corners because my library cards have rounded corners. Okay, and then here you have your library card. Once you glue this on the back, voila, you've got a library card. How easy is that? So I'm not going to glue this together till we decorate it. So this would be great in a rainbow book. Speaking of rainbow books, as soon as I reach 2,000, I'm going to be giving away the rainbow book. We still have 3 pages to do in that book. So tell your friends about my channel, share my channel, do whatever you need to do to help us get some more subscribers in. Okay, so that is if you do a long one. That is if you do a library pocket. This is just a long pocket for a tag, a skinny tag, and this is a small pocket for a skinny, it's a short pocket for a skinny tag. Okay, so, and this is how these turned out. And this is how this would turn out too. Okay, so let's move over here. Now, I have not decorated these or done anything like that with them. I thought we would do one of the, or some of the pockets. Now, I have taken 2 cards, and I showed you how I glued those 2 together. And so, as you can see here, because I haven't stitched around them, looks like that one's stitched down really good. It's glued down really good. Anyway, these 2 are glued together. And so this is going to be a pocket. Now, they're going to be in the same book. So I want them to look like the same color scheme, right? So I'm going to start with this pink. And I'm going to pull my little glue mat over here. And I'm just going to turn this over. And I'm going to start in the corner of the index card, or the pocket. Now, I'm not paying any attention, which is out of character for me. I'm not paying any attention to whether the text is in the right upright position or not. I don't even care. I don't even care in this project, believe it or not. One thing I will tell you is that you have to be very careful when you're putting the glue on this, because it will tear easier because it's vintage pages. Now, especially when you're putting glue on it, it will tear easier. So just be aware of that. Make sure your paper that you're using underneath is not sticky either, because it will separate it. Now, right now, I'm not tearing any of the edges because all of these are going to have something cover them. Okay, so I'm going to put these hearts on here sideways. I like to do my outsides before I do my insides. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I just think I like it better that way. Okay, so let's get some of this. I love this blue. It's so bright and cheery. Let's see, where do we want to put this blue? Let's just tear some and see what we come up with. Okay, now we are going to have to tear around the edges. Okay. I'm trying to think, do I want to do it like, kind of like that? But I want this to, I still like my text to be straight I'm not worrying about whether or not it's up or down. You know, I just want, but I do like it to be straight. So I think what I'm going to do is put it right here. I like this turquoise color. Let's see, what do we got here? Find some of these small pieces now. How about this pink? Let's see. Well, that didn't go quite as wide as I wanted it, but you know what? It's so close. It's so close. So we're going to put it on there anyway. And it doesn't hurt if there's a little area that has a little gap in it or something, you know, that you can't get covered, like that corner. It's not a big deal. I mean, if you want to go back and add a little bit for that corner, go for it. To each their own is what I say. Normally that would bug me. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I didn't get this very straight. If you're looking right there, you're right. I did not get it very straight. So I have this little piece of blue. Maybe I want to put it right there. I do. See, I told you I wouldn't be able to stand it. It would have been fine without it. But no, because it was laying there and it had a corner cut on it, I had to use it. Okay, so down here, let's put some green or yellow. Let's do some yellow. Okay. I pulled that a little shorter than I wanted, but it's the only yellow I have right now that's pulled apart, so we're going to put it on there anyway. There is no reason for anything I lay down, because this is not your typical collaging where you have a plan, you're putting journaling spots and all that. This does not need a journaling spot because it is a pocket. Now, I do pockets several different ways with fabric. Now, I was going to do a video with fabric, and then I decided to do it as a collage. But sometime I might come back and do one that shows you how to quilt on a card. Let's put this green on here. It's the only thing we haven't used is green, I believe. Okay. All right. Whoops. Whoopsie, whoopsie. After you get all this down, you want to trim around all your edges. This, I will admit, this is not my favorite. I think that's too much blue. So what I might do is go through here with a different color. Now the question is, how about purple? We've got some purple. Let's just use it. Got to do around the edges of the paper. And listen, tearing this paper is so easy. There's no struggle doing that, I guarantee you. And I like having this paper on hand. I used on my stenciling for these text pages, I used Dilutions. And I like the way it turned out. It dried really well. Now see, that's a little better. That's a little bit of something. Now we still have, actually we don't, but I really want to put this yellow text on here. Just a little bit of it. Okay. let's see. Okie doke. Now I'm trimming all this down. I hope you guys are having a good day. It's Sunday, the weekend of Memorial Day. And I gotta tell you guys what happened last night. I'm sure you've heard it on the national news. All right, so you know I've been telling you we've had all these storms and we have massive flooding happening, and the Corps of Engineers has had to empty, you know, the dam and everything because there's nowhere for the water to go. And so it's going into people's yards, basically. Same thing that happened to us in '86 is happening all over again. Although yesterday I heard that maybe it will be even more. We had 4 to 5 foot on our land. So you can imagine. I like the way this one turned out. I actually like this one better than this one. Maybe. I don't know. They look like they go together though, don't they? So we're going to let these dry, and we're going to do that library pocket real fast. And when these are dry, we're going to stitch them. And we can do, I'm going to get that, there it is. I'm going to get this out, and we're going to collage this front part, which will be like this, because that puts it in an upright position. So I think we'll start with this purple. And I got to pick up my glue paper here. It's really wet. And earlier, my text paper, because it's so delicate, it stuck to my sticky paper and ripped in half, and I couldn't get the other half off because it was so sticky. So we'll try not to do that this time. Okay. So I'm going to let this hang over a little bit on the sides till I see exactly how it looks and make sure it's like I want it to be. And whoops, that just ripped right in half. Yeah. Maybe I want, I was trying to decide if I wanted to put this upside down, but I think I want it right here. I don't care what direction it's going. Here's a little bit of yellow. Might as well stick that in there somewhere. Okay, this has to be torn a little bit, and I don't know if I tore it right just now. I'm going to throw that away and start over because I tore it too thin. I can get it off my fingers because my fingers are so sticky. Okay. All right. What color do I want now? How about some green? Okay. So let's put some green right here on the front. I hope you guys have had a great Memorial Day weekend. I didn't get to finish what I was just telling you, which I'm about to. So I get my medicine, you know, that I take at night, and I get all ready to go to bed. It's about 11 o'clock last night. And my husband's on the computer. He had been dozing in and out. And then all of a sudden, the weatherman came on and said we were going to get, you know, some thunderstorms and could possibly be severe, but you know, they didn't act like they were too worried about that happening. Well, all of a sudden, like an hour and a half away from us, a little town that my daddy used to live in. You know, I told you before that he had been in a tornado when all the tornado subjects came up. Well, the same little area that he lived in had a weird, unusual tornado. You know, well, before that, let me tell you this. Before that, there was a tornado that happened in Oklahoma City, okay? And Oklahoma City's been lucky. You know, usually they're getting something, you know, when it comes to storms, but they were being lucky through these storms and not had as much. But a tornado out of the blue developed. Even the weathermen didn't expect it. And I don't know about the National Weather Service, but they sure didn't let any of us know. Okay, and it didn't affect us because it was, you know, an hour and a half or two away in Oklahoma City. And this tornado comes down, and I don't know all the details. I just know what I heard last night. I haven't had the television on today, but all the tornadoes came out of that, and it was like I think it was like an F2 or 3. It may have been bigger, but it hit an area that had hotels and stuff like that in it, and it came down on a hotel. And when it was all said and done, I mean, it just kept going. It didn't rise up. It just kept going, and it came all the way toward just the street over from us. It had been going up and coming down, going up and coming down. And it covered the Oklahoma City area. Let me finish that. I have a tendency to get off the subject if you haven't noticed. Okay, so a man and a woman or a couple or someone woke up and there was a motorcycle and a car in their hotel room. And there was a mobile home park behind this hotel. It was kind of in a rural area. And so people were injured. There were several people injured from the mobile home area, and I don't know where the 2 deceased came from, but when I went to bed last night at 2 o'clock, at that point they were saying there was 2 confirmed dead. And so pray for those families. It just breaks my heart to see people go to bed. Can you imagine going to bed not having any idea, and all of a sudden a tornado is upon you? And it's scary enough, but it's really scary when something like that happens. And so then it came on, it went through some of these different areas, and then it went to Sapulpa. And then from Sapulpa, it went down the Creek Turnpike. And from the Creek Turnpike, it went here, it went there. It went all over the place. And I don't know if it was the same tornado last night. They were thinking that it might be. And but I mean, the weatherman on TV, they were not talking calm for an hour, okay? They were just da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I mean, it was just one place after another. And the weather chasers they were, I'm sure, driving like crazy men. And I'm going to trim this excess off. And as soon as this dries, we'll fold it. But it's going to fold over. Well, see, we're going to have some to trim off there. So I'll go ahead and do that. So we just want to trim it off the side as well. Okay. And off of this side as well. Make sure we keep it folded like we had it. Oh, what is the deal? Oh, that's the back. I keep getting confused with the back. I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to trim any excess off. If I can make sure exactly where my folds are. Anyway, so we ended up in the bathroom. My sister who lives in Kansas was calling me. I guess her brother-in-law who lives in the same area as us, not close to us. He didn't have my phone number, so he calls my sister in the middle of the night in Kansas and tells her that she needs to check on me because we were fixing to have a tornado hit us. And I kid you not, guys, it was one street over. And so it was pretty scary. My husband looks at me before it gets here and he goes, "We're going to have to get in the bathroom," because we don't have a shelter. But so we go in there, and we literally are in there 5 minutes. That's how fast that tornado was coming from one city to the next. And so then within 30 minutes, my husband was called out to go on storm recovery because there was so many power outages and so forth. My husband works for the power company. He's an engineer. But anyway, when something catastrophic happens or bigger than normal, they call out a storm crew. And I mean, everyone works, whether it's your department or not. You work in that. You work the storms. And so anyway, so he just got home. He was gone not quite 24 hours, but close enough. Okay, so now we have this tucked under, but my husband said there's a lot of roofs off. There's a lot of substations, which is the area that runs the electricity, or some of the electricity comes from. All of that was affected. Okay, so would we want to do the back of this kind of rainbowy too? I think so. I think while we're at it, we might as well do it, See, and I'm also thinking we could decorate some of these, like I like that on there. Let's see. Let's see. So we'll decorate this part, and then we'll go in and start decorating the other parts. I really wanted to go ahead and I think I'm going to put a big piece here. Not so little small pieces. That way it's not as many colors to deal with. So like I said, I recommend, you don't have to do this, but I like having this paper available for whenever I want to just jump in and do something different. And so you have it then, and then you don't have to think about it, Okay, so let's do, I'm almost out of yellow, so maybe I should save the yellow. How about we do this bright purple? I'm almost out of all of them, which you know what that means. Now I'm going to use green. It means that I'm going to have to break down and do some more of these. Okay. Let's put some glue on the back of this one, and then we should have this part finished. But my husband worked all night long and didn't get home until a couple hours ago, and he's been sleeping ever since. So he said, "Wake me up at 7. He doesn't want to, he hates missing his weekend off is what it amounts to. If you want to call it a weekend off, it's not really a weekend off now. Okay, so we're going to cut around these corners, trim off any excess on our library pocket. When you use glue stick, I've never had 100% faith in glue stick, I'll just tell you. But it does, if you get a strong glue stick, it does hold down this type of paper. I mean, I do recommend that around the edges you stitch, because I think that's where it has a tendency to want to lift up. So there we go. How's that look? I'm impressed. Now, after we do all the stitching, we will come back and decorate the pockets. So I'm going to see if I can move this stuff over a little bit. And then we'll also put on the hinges. I'm hoping that this stuff is, I'm going to fold this over and get it, but the sticky's not going to stick to me. Okay. So I've got lace over here. I've got a little, oh, you know what? Look here at this whole other stack of collaging stuff. I didn't even know I had over there. I have more of this than I thought. Yay. So I'm going to move it though, so we have some room to do whatever else we need to do as far as decorating goes. I'm going to move this if I can find a spot to put it. There we go. Okay, so we've got these to do first. Trying to clean up our area so we don't have a total mess going on. So I am not going to do it in a zigzag this time. I think because this paper is frail, I'm just going to do a straight stitch, and I'm going to enlarge it till I'm going to do like 30 for the stitch length. Now, you can start on any end of this you want. I usually start on the bottom. Let me make sure you can see. It helped to move it, right? Can you guys see that okay? Pretty good, huh? It keeps hooking to the bottom of my mat. There. There. Okay. So anyway, I just feel for all the families and the families of the people who didn't make it, and I just hate that, you know, that sort of thing happens. Now it will always be called the Memorial Day weekend tornado. We had one during Easter time one year. This has been 25, 30 years ago. And forever it was called the Easter tornado. You know, like, oh my goodness. You never hear about it anymore. There's been bigger and better tornadoes since then, I guess. Okay. Now see what we're doing here. Let me see if I can go one more stitch without going off the page. Nope. Shouldn't have took that one extra stitch. You never know. So needless to say, Sadie and I have been in the craft room all day because he's asleep now. We hadn't had much to do, so we took a 2-hour nap. Of course, we got up really early. My husband, usually when he gets up to go to work, he takes the pup out, and I don't have to deal with the early morning shift. Oh, okay. So I don't like the way I went off the paper there a little bit. So I'm going to do another stitch. You got to be careful about that. I'm saying that to you, but I'm the one that really needs to be reminded. Got to be careful sometimes. And because that looks kind of ugly, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do another stitch, a little bit of a wonky stitch around. I don't like to do a lot of over stitching on this kind of paper because it is text paper. Like I said, it's fragile, but it won't do me any good if it looks terrible, right? So I deliberately make it a little crooked. That's what I'm saying to you. Okay, let's take it off. See what we end up with. Just going to trim everything. I am using black thread so it'll have a contrast. Show you guys what it looks like. Now this is not decorated and it doesn't have its hinges yet. So let's do the second one so we'll have a set. I always like to, let me see which side's up. I don't think it really matters. But now we will have to go around this one twice for them to look alike. Ooh, I'm close to the edge there. Okay. Gonna go around one more time. Okay, almost done with this one. All right, so now we have the set done. And we'll have to decide what we want to put on it to decorate it. But here is the one we just finished. And here is its brother or sister. Right there. Okay, so now we're going to do this library pocket. And then we can glue the flaps down. So we're going to do the pocket separate. We're not going to glue anything down until we get everything stitched. So I'm just going to start off the page over here, and I'm not going to do 2 stitches unless I boob up here. But you know, I do have a tendency to do sometimes. Now I'm going to go straight down the side here. Seeing how far up I can go. I think it folds right there. Yeah. I'm trying to do it like a square on the front of the pocket. Okay, and then we'll go up this side. Okay, so that is for the front pocket. But now we need to stitch around here. And then we will have our stitching done. So, start underneath here. Get my thread out of the way. Ooh, my machine didn't like that, whatever that was. It's probably glue. I didn't let it dry a long time. And I may have to go around that twice. It got really close to the edge. We'll just have to see. Yep. Gonna have to go around this part twice, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not a real, how do I put it? I'm not straight when I drive sometimes. Not in real life, but in crafting life. Okay. I really like the messy look though. I'll just be honest. Ooh, I really did something crazy there. I didn't take that corner very well. I could not be in the race. I couldn't be a race car driver. That's for sure. My corners look kind of wonky. Okay, now when you glue the pocket up, I would use a stronger glue than, you know, I wouldn't use a glue stick to do that. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to push this out of the way, come back over here and trim up the strings so they're not sticking out. And I'm going to get the Fabri-Tac because it's the one that I have the most faith in. You can see right here, I'm going to show you. Sorry, I don't want to flip you out of the phone stand, or the camera stand. Let's see, here is how it's going to end up. So we're going to add some glue to the two flaps on the side, or really, I'm just going to add them back here. I'll add the glue back here, and this is how it will be attached down. And I did put too much glue right there. There wasn't even anything to glue it to at that place. Now, this, since, you know, this is the right size for a library card, you can make these, you can make your own library cards. You can do the same thing that you do with a time card, you can do with your index cards. You know, there's lots of ways for us to budget what we do. And honestly, I don't know if that's perfectly straight, but I'm proud of it. Okay, and here we go. We're going to put our little card in there, and it's ready to go. Now, do we want to decorate? Let's see what we can come up with. Okay, I'm thinking we can add some lace. We've got all these pockets going on here. Trying to remember which side's up, which side's down. Let's do it like this. That way we can have these two here. Now I've got white and I've got an off-white lace. Now, you have to take into consideration when you use a lace, you are going to cover up a lot. Unless you use a lace similar to this, that's, you can see right through. See? Now, I don't really want lace on the top of it. I wanted to put some kind of floral or something, but I really was having a hard time. I pulled out my small florals that I've fussy cut, and let me tell you, that fussy cutting is some kind of job, right? Okay, so this one, it does not look bad on here. Just barely fits, but the thing is when you try to put, look at this one though, how cute, with all this little, it has to have something behind it because it just doesn't look right. We could even add some doily if we wanted. That's cute. I kind of like that. But do I want to cover up the work that I've done? Here's a little flower right here. You know, we could put something similar to that. We could just do like the flower itself. Let's see what it looks like with this and that. I don't think I'm going to like it, but I think that gets too busy. Let's see what this one will look like over here with the doily. You know what? We could even do the doily on the bottom. I think I like that the thought of that better. Put the doily on the bottom. Okay. And we would glue it down. We could have stitched through it, but I think it looks better not stitching through it because then it looks like it's hanging over the edge. Okay, so this is the bottom. Looks like I have it upside down, but, and you can add whatever you want to it at that point. And I really have not been lucky finding small things. Let's do like this and see what it looks like. Yeah, it's so big. Now, I like the taller better. What about you? Let's see. This one has lavender on it. We're covering up the lavender here, but that really doesn't matter. Here is a yellow, which I think I like even better. I think we're going to do this. Now, I don't know. You know, I don't know. It looks good to my eye. Now, it may not look good to everybody's eye, and that's okay. To each their own, as I always say. I'm going to bring my little book back over here as soon as I tear off the paper. I got stuff falling everywhere. I've been trying to clean up my desk today, you guys. That's a joke. Okay. Ignore this picture here of the bear attacking the child. Let's just turn it over. Okay. So the first thing I would say we need to do is to glue the back of this doily down. And I would center it. Okay. We want it centered. And instead of putting it on the doily, I would just put it a little bit here. Because I've tried doing the doilies and it doesn't turn out pretty. You will have to let this part dry because now it's wet. But I'm going to, on this side, I'm going to do a little bit of the doily, just this portion here, not where you go inside all these little nooks and crannies, and maybe just the edge, because it will come through and it makes the doily really weak. So we're going to do it like this and hope that it's nice and straight. Pretty good. Pretty good. Now that's good enough. Now that's the bottom side. Now what did I do with my flower? Now I'm going to set my flower right here off to the side. Getting sticky on my table. And I am going to put the glue on the back of the flower now. Now, you know, when we do a lot of our decoupaging, not decoupaging, I'm sorry, collaging, we have been doing like putting a label on it and all the different kinds of fun things that different people have come up with. But in this situation, I think that's enough. Now, make sure that's staying down. It is. Thought it was going to come up on me. Okay, so now we need to put our hinges on here. So we're going to flip it over. We're going to bring out the regular glue so that we know this holds it holds down. And I'm going to do the bottom first. Now, put the glue on your actual hinge, the portion that's going to go down and allows you to have the folded part right here to the outside. So I'm going to glue it right here. Now that glue stick is pretty wet on that doily, so we'll see how well this sticks. But the reason I'm doing the hinges is I don't like my pockets to be super flat. Every now and then I still make them, depending on the embellishments I have for the book. If your book is going to have embellishments that are really thin and won't stay in open pockets, yeah, you definitely want flat pockets. Now we're going to do the same thing with the side hinges. You notice I cut this smaller on each end. Okay, so the ends are not going to have anything. And then we're going to put the fold out and we're going to bring it up to the top. So we're going to have this opening here, but whenever you get over here, you can't tell. Okay, so we're going to put it on the end of that Okay. And that hinge will be toward the outside also. Bring it up to the top of the pocket so that whenever people put stuff into the pocket, it won't pull off. Does that make sense to you? Here is the last. Boy, the dogs are going crazy because everybody's out and about at the pool and people are walking on the trail, and so everybody's dog is going nuts today. And my puppy is asleep. She has slept a lot today. Okay. There we go. Now, I'm going to show you on this book, I'm going to show you how this would look on a journal. Okay, so we're going to do it like this. But because we're going to add glue here, here, and here. Nobody's going to see that ugly background. And then we're going to put it on the edge or close to the edge. I usually allow a little bit of room. And then we're going to let this dry. And sometimes I clip them down to make sure they're really being held to the pages. And, yeah. And it's just different. This is just different. And that's what I like about it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the other pocket to match this one. So I'm going to set that right there, and we're going to bring out the other pocket, and we're going to bring out another doily. And I don't know if I have the same doily in the same color with me. It doesn't matter. That one's white, and I think this one's cream. Oh, well. Who cares? Okay, that's the top. So we're wanting to do it on the bottom. So let's at least try to get the doily up as high. See, it's not going to be near as wide as that doily either. That's all right. I don't want to go dig any more doilies out, so I'll sacrifice. Okay, so now I'm going to fold that over till we get a crease right there. And we have it like that, and I'm going to put some of the glue stick on the back of this. Just kind of eyeball the size of your doily. I know I have a crease in this doily somewhere. Trying to get it centered. So there. And you will want all this glue on the back to dry before you put your pocket down in your book or your journal. And then here we're going to lay this down, and we're going to just put glue on this section and maybe a little bit on the edges, but not where all these massive holes are. Okay. I'm going to move that out of the way. And you see how this blue comes through? It's because this glue stick it comes out blue, but it dries clear, which I think is just magical. I mean, who comes up with all this stuff? Okay, so now we want to turn this around, and we want it to look good with the one we just did. Not that they're going to be on the same page, but we want it to have the same kind of look. So we want to find, out of all the small ones that I have here, this is the only other one that's tall. I think that this should have been fussy cut a little shorter or closer. I don't do all, some of my florals I bought, but now I pretty much do my own. Some of these I've had. Found a place on Etsy that I don't even remember the name of her place right now, that sewed cut out flowers. Now some of them are too big to use for what I use my stuff like that for, but they don't need to look like all the sides are matching. Do you know what I mean? It just needs to have its own little shape. I like that better. It's not so much white sticking out. Okay, now we're going to put this on here. And let's see, maybe if we have this one be on a right side page, that would look good. And we have this one be on a left side page. So we'll put it on this side. Yeah. So there. I don't think that looks too awful. And I'll put the hinges on that after the video. That way we can decorate this because our time is running out, unfortunately. So on here, I really think that this little floral is, well, that's not the right one. Maybe it's this one. This little floral is cute. And actually it goes this way, but I'm going to cut off the word because it's not going to make it be shaped right if I keep that. And I'm going to trim off a little bit around the outside. It doesn't have to have a absolute perfect shape as long as the whole flower's in there. Okay, now I'm going to put a little piece of lace under it. And I want to be able to see through it, so let's just do it like this. And I'll trim this a little straighter. And then I'll trim it right here. And we could put it down in this corner. And just glue it down there. Okay, let me get my little paper out. Always think you're done and then you realize you got to do something else. Okay, lay down there. Okay, now you will need to put a little bit of glue under the fabric, but I'm going to use a little bit of this Fabri-Tac. Very thin, very lightly, just enough to tack the lace down. And of course the glue will grab hold of the florals on this as well. So, nothing fancy, nothing spectacular. Just a little library pocket. All right, so I'm going to show you what we did today. Let me see how many minutes we are. We're already past our hour, so we need to say goodbye. And here are our 3 projects. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, come join us. The more the merrier. And I just want to let you guys know I appreciate you all. And I hope you enjoy the new project today. Talk to you soon. Bye.